Hello there, this is Chris with Peace of Mind Art and Craft, and I'm here today to show you a kit. I have many slow stitch kits available on my Etsy, and as you know, I have a lot of videos with the slow stitch, and people are starting to really get into this, and I love it as well. And so I made up some kits that are available on my shop. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how the kit comes in. This one is the Christmas kit. I also have a neutral kit, a flower garden quilt kit, a shabby Paris kit, and it's one other one I can't think of right now. This one's the Christmas kit, and I am going to show you how it comes and how I go about putting it together. If you don't want to order a kit off my Etsy, then that's fine too. Maybe you have a lot of Christmas fabrics and ribbons and so on, and then you can make your own. Okay, so this is one that I have done already. The kit comes with a piece of fabric that's it's a little more than 8. It's about 8.5, maybe by 6. So we'll say 8 by 6 is probably the smallest it will be 8 by 6. And you can of course cut it down to any size that you want. The kit will come with, for the backing, it will come with a piece of muslin. Let me show you, I've got one here already made up. The way that'll come. I include a lot of Christmas fabrics and laces and ribbons. And then you get a little baggie that has buttons and charms and beads. And sometimes like little flowers or so on to sew on to your slow stitch. And I'll show you how to do a couple of those. And it comes with a piece of the muslin backing, which is cut to the 8 by 6 size. You can also opt to get a piece of the the white quilted fabric as your background, but you have to mention that when you order. You have to mention that in the comments below where you order, and I will send you this one. And for those of you that are watching this video for kind of a limited time, if you would prefer to start out with a background of this green leaf or this pretty deer and tree fabric, then I can do that as well. Some people like to use the design that's in the background fabric and add things to it, laces and ribbons and so on, and maybe some buttons and maybe even like little pieces of fabric. If you want to do that, that's fine. For a limited time, I'll have some of these available for the background. Okay, so let me show you. First of all, the one that's finished again, so we can take a look at what we have here. Now, this one has not been backed yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for. You can back this with a piece of pretty Christmas fabric cut to the size of it. This isn't quite the right size, but you would cut that to the size, and then you can either glue it to the backing or sew around it. Maybe put a little ribbon at the top, and it can be used as a hanging, pretty little Christmas hanging. Or you could use it on the front cover of a journal. Just various uses for it. You could cut your fabric down and make smaller pieces out of it, smaller slow stitch pieces, however you want to do it. So we'll put that to the side for the moment, and let's bring out again. I'm going to pretend like I got all of these ingredients in a kit, and I'm going to look at them. It comes with some threads in the Christmas colors. Okay, and comes with some lace, some ribbons. Here's a little bit of bling. Here's the little package of charms and buttons and so on. And also with your Christmas kit, you will receive as a little bonus a piece of Christmas ephemera that I have made. In this case, this kit has come with a little piece of fabric that's been sewn down to some Christmas papers, and placed on the back where you can journal. Maybe use this for a journaling card or any part of a Christmas journal. Really, it would work well. Okay, so that comes with the kit. I'm going to put that aside for the moment. Here is a piece of antique lace from France that I got from my friend Debbie. Her pen pal's grandmother passed away at 90-some, and she left her all of her old lace pieces. So this is a piece from that. Now, all these kits will be different. If you order a kit from me and you want a specific theme, like maybe you might want cats, or and you might like the old-fashioned, the deer, let me know, and I'll try to incorporate that into your kit. And I'll be glad to try to make it, for you. But as far as that goes, each kit will be different, because I have a lot of Christmas fabrics. So how do you go about designing one of these? So first of all, I would take the fabric off, and the ribbons and so on, and until I get down to my base, which I'm going to use a piece of muslin. Just about all of the kits come with the background of muslin, unless you ask me otherwise. So basically what we want to do is we want to make a picture, kind of build it up from the background. Maybe some of these pieces that you get in your kit, or that you start out with when you're making your own, maybe some of these pieces aren't really what you want. Maybe you want to use those later on something else, and that's fine too. You don't have to use every single piece in in your kit. Okay, this is a piece of kind of a tulle that has little sparkles in it. So I'm going to maybe put that over the top in a bit. I really like this cat, so I'm going to try to incorporate that. Same thing goes on here as it does with regular journaling, as far as layering. For example, when you're making some kind of ephemera and so on, and you want to be layering. So I would kind of audition, which is put things down, and before I either glue or sew them down, then I'll and you can have things extend over and then clip them off later on if you want. It's a little stocking. Now I'm just laying these fabrics just for now in a pattern to see how I might want them. There's a little boy that's That's ice skating. You don't have to cover every single square inch of the background right away. You can wait till you get some pieces sewed down. Let's see. Kind of like that there. It's pretty. Okay. Okay, then you kind of take a look at it, see how you like it so far. I think that's a good start, so I'm going to glue some of these pieces down. Let's see, glue sticks here. Sorry about the noise with the scissors. I hope you're all doing well. We finally have some nice fall weather here. It's in the 70s all week. So that'll be nice. And I use this glue stick. I don't want to use any heavy duty glue because I just want to hold it down until I stitch it. And this glue stick works really nice for that because it doesn't add any thickness to the fabric. So that it's easier to sew through. And also another advantage of it is that it will come up if you need it to come up instead of having it be glued down permanently. If you do need to move something, it's fairly easy to do that. You just have to do it real gently. Okay, so I got these pieces kind of glued down. Now I am going to put some ribbon and laces over these later. Over these sections. As I sew. But for right now, we'll start out with that. I'll show you a few stitches. And like I said, I've included the thread kit. Has some reds and greens, of course, and some white and black. Some this kind of a dark red. I think I'll start out with that. And you can separate your thread into three strands. They come out, of course, embroidery floss. And I use a cotton embroidery floss. You can use any kind of thread that you want, really. But since most of these fabrics are cotton, I like to use cotton threads. Okay. Start your needle. And I've showed you a trick about threading your needle. If you have a dark color thread, put it on top of a white so you can see your needle better. Put it on top of a white piece of fabric or paper or whatever, and then you can see it better to pull it through. Same goes if you have a white, say you're using a white or a light color thread, hold it over the black. Hold your needle over the black so that you can see the eye better. And that's a tip that I've used for many a year. Dokie. So I'm probably going to put something over this later. There's a little bit too much black there. But for now, I'm just going to start. I can start anywhere I want. I think I'll start up here and kind of do across with just the running stitch. Now you can do your whole stitch with running stitch, or you can alternate and do some other stitches in here. Okay, and the reason it's called running stitch is because you can kind of run it through the the fabric a few times before you actually pull it. And then I always kind of pull it out like that to kind of make sure that it's not ruffling it. Okay, let me show you a few of the different stitches that are on here. Okay, primarily I have used the running stitch on here. I did do some flowers, which were the Lazy Daisy stitch, and I tried to add a lot of petals to them so they look like poinsettias, and then I used the little gold or yellow gold for the inside bracts of the poinsettias, and then I used a brown for the stems. But primarily it's the running stitch that you can see here and here to sew the lace down. And for little pieces, I like to see if I can get this up closer. I like to just do a tacking stitch or an applique stitch where I come up and then I come down on the side of the fabric. And of course I added these 3 pieces after I put the lace down. And you can see how I've overlapped some. It looks much better when you overlap rather than when you just have everything just straight on. And it also looks nice when you turn, like see how I turned this snowflake. This is actually a piece of ribbon. I turned it a little bit so that it was at an angle so that everything wasn't, you know, real straight or anything. So basically I'll use the running stitch and then the applique stitch, the Lazy Daisy stitch, and the French knot. That's kind of what I usually do. I add some other various stitches sometimes as well, which you can use whatever stitches you want. That's the great thing about art and crafts is you can tailor it to fit your own style. Okay, so let's say and you can make your stitches any size you want as well. And as far as how many stitches you get onto the fabric will depend on how, like for instance, this is kind of a thick part of the lace, so I might just do 1 stitch down there and then come up again and do another stitch. This is actually going through there fairly well. But this linen fabric that was on this antique lace is a little bit thicker than, like, say, this one was. So I might not want to run it through 4 or 5 times like I did that other one. Maybe just 2 is enough. And then pull it through. Because you don't want to get stuck or anything like that where you have to take out the stitches because they were too thick. Okay, so I'm coming over to the side here. I'm going to most likely put something up here in the corner. Oops. And just when you have that, when it starts to knot up like that, just pull it real gently until you make sure it goes through. And that way, if you do get a knot, then you can undo it before you get too far, before it gets too tight. And once the knot gets too tight, it's kind of hard to get it in there. Okay, I'm going to take this this red and white. I have a lot of red and white in here, so I'm going to kind of try to maybe stick to the red and white theme. And then I have, of course, this, but it has some red in it too. I'm going to show you how to put a ribbon down. I'm going to fold over this little edge, and I'm going to put that down. I'm going to come back up. This is kind of the same concept as if when you're making a journal and you're ruffling down the edges and you're either stapling it or sewing it down with the ruffle in it. You can fold it over. And I like the way this shows on the edges, like that it's ruffled. And as you go, you can turn it to go in a different direction if you want. Which is what I think I'm going to do here. I'll show you this up closer in a moment, after I get a few more stitches down. And you can go the other way on your ruffle as well. I'll go out here. And I'll come back. I'm doing this so that mitten that's underneath there can show better. I hope that you all are doing well. It's kind of maybe a little bit early to get ready for Christmas, but then of course, if you're a crafter, you know you have to start ahead of time if you want to get something done for a gift. And this year unfortunately they're talking about being a lot of, if you're going to mail something, it's going to be a lot of delays, so I guess that means we have to get our stuff out earlier if we're going to mail things for presents. It's always something. Okay, so can you see how I'm varying that so that it makes a difference as far as which way it goes, and I can still do that. Maybe come down between the mitten and the kitten. The kitten and the mitten. I think there's a nursery rhyme about a kitten and a mitten. 3 little kittens lost their mittens. That's it. See, you didn't know how I was that old. Okay, and then I can just continue on down with that until I get down a little bit further. And when I come back, I'm running out of time here with the video, so I'm going to start up again. When I come back, I'll show you some more stitches. Okay, I'm back, and I did a few things while I had the camera off, and I'll show you those. First of all, I finished this ribbon, and it went down to here, and then I came up with my thread, that red thread, but I still had quite a bit left, so I just came up the side and over to the ribbon where I started. Then I added this cute little gingerbread button. I don't know if you can see that or not. I added him. And then down below, I added this window scene. And then I added some gold or bronze ribbon down here, which I folded up and pinned. So I will sew that later in the same method I used on this checked ribbon. Except this I'll probably have to do more than one row. I'll probably have to do 2 or 3 rows to get it to sew down. But that's fine. This I haven't quite decided let's see what I'm going to do yet. I thought maybe I think what I'll do is I'll try to cut around this mitten at least up to the side here where the kitten starts. Yeah, I like that, the way that looks better. And I could even go a little bit farther. And I might have to put something underneath there, but that's okay. Okay, so I sewed it down. So let me... Everything does not have to have straight edges. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. Not having the straight edges. It would have been better if I would have done this before I placed it down, but then I didn't know that I was going to do it, so. There we go. I like that. And like I said, I can put something underneath there as well. Or have some more ribbon or button or whatever later on. Kind of like this, but I don't know where I would put it. I'm going to my little bag here to see what I have. I have a nice button that would go there. Why don't we try that? I'm going to use I think I'm going to use a white thread for that button. And sometimes I use all 6 strands of the thread, which is good. Remember how I said to put the white against a black background? This might be a minute here. It's a little bit harder to thread the needle when you have the 6 strands. There we go. But because I put it up against this black background, I could see it better. Okay. I'm just going to sew this down the button. This is one of the buttons that I got from Agnes's button box. I did a video on that a while ago. My friend next door, Pat, her mother passed away at 92. And Agnes, her mother, lived there as well. And she left Pat all of her buttons. And Pat says, "You want some buttons?" She came over with these 2 giant boxes full of all kinds of buttons from the 30s up through now. And a lot of them are, of course, white or ecru color, which I use a lot of. I kind of wash them in batches and then let them dry and put them in my button box. And I also include some of these beads with the kit if you like to do beading and sewing. These are kind of jewel-toned ones. I don't know if they'd go that great with the they would. They would probably, you know, you see a lot of Christmas lights and so on with the jewel-toned colors. I might put another button over here. This is a white button. And it has a little design in it. Okay. That happens often. You get it all caught on a needle or a pin or whatever. And that's one of the reasons why I use pins sparingly on here, and rather I just kind of tack it down with a bit of glue, because it's much easier to it's much easier when you use the glue to tack it down, then your needle doesn't get caught all the time on your pins, or on maybe on buttons or something. So you just would kind of continue on in this manner and add buttons, lace. Let's see what else I've got. I've got some of this. Oh, I know I had this, which can go over the top, which looks pretty. This fabric here with the deers, that has some glitter in it already, so I might try to use this and put glitter elsewhere. What have I got here? Now, when you put this over the top, it kind of makes it look like it's snowing, which is pretty. But yet you can still see through all of this going on. In this case, I think I'll pin it because I don't want to be able to see the glue through there. Okay, then I would just continue on. Excuse me, I might do some red, maybe like a couple of red flowers up here. Of course, I will do all the slow stitch to stitch all this down, and the ribbon. I'll stitch that down with the folds. I can add some more little trinkets and so on. I've got some stars in here. And I'll just keep going till I get it like I want it. I hope that you've enjoyed this video today. And please visit my Etsy shop if you would like to order one of these kits. I think they're pretty reasonable for what you get in the packet. Like I said, of course, if you have your own supplies, this is a great way to use up various scraps of Christmas fabric that you have. I recommend using only fabric on these rather than any kind of paper or anything, because it's harder to sew through paper, although you could use paper if you wanted to. I think that there's so much work involved in these that you'd want to have something that was a little bit more permanent than paper. But you can use this for sure as a cover on your journal. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you all peace of mind. Bye now.